Arne, lots of big games on the horizon, starting with this FA Cup tie at Manchester City. What is it about the big games, do you think, that seems to bring out the best in the Liverpool players? If you just look at this season, and I know lots of things haven't gone your way, the game against Real Madrid, Arsenal, home and away, even the Manchester City game that you lost at Anfield, you played really well and could easily have won it. So what is it about these big occasions that does seem to enable the players to play with maybe a bit more freedom?
Now, unfortunately, the one game we are playing tomorrow was probably the worst game we had in the sense of playing the big games. We lost there 3-0. Of course, there were referee decisions involved in that loss that made it harder for us. But they were much better in the first half than us. I think, and I've said this many times, the reason why we have shown many times that we're a good team in big games, but also in other games, is that we have very good players and we can play very good football. It's been a very hard for us and a struggle for us to play the amount of games. So every time after a good game, even the City game, we played 3 days after we played Real Madrid. And that has been our biggest problem this season. Struggling after playing after a good result or a bad result so many games. That has been the biggest issue for this team. And not the games on itself, because we've shown that we have quality players and we are a very good team. But the amount of games have been our biggest issue. And that's why I just said it's interesting for us to see now where we are after 7, 8 or 9 months. We've played much better against them at home. As you said, at Anfield, I don't think we deserve to lose. Especially not after our second half performance. Unfortunately, there was a big referee decision in that game as well. The red card on Mo Salah. That didn't went in our favour. But now we have to show, if this progress, we can also show that in an away game, because it's usually tougher to play away from home than at Anfield.
The game that you referred to at Manchester City that you lost 3-0, Jeremy Doku was almost unplayable. What can you do to try and make sure he doesn't get that type of opportunity again to cause as much carnage? I mean, he'll probably never play as well as that again, but Jeremy Doku is a very capable footballer. Is it about trying to cut the supply to him?
No, I did my homework quite well for this game, as I try to do for every game, but I have to disagree with you about Doku's performance last time, because the year before he was even better. I think then he had 11 times he had a dribble past one of our defenders, and in the last game he had 7 or 8. So I wouldn't be too sure that he's not able to do that another time, but we hopefully also learn from that, and it's not always about Doku on his own. It's also about the environment. How many players can we bring in that zone? If it's 1v1, then he's probably one of the best out there. And that's a big quality to have for a team. I think the amount of times I've sat here to say one-on-one quality can make a difference against teams that defend in a low block. So it's a vital quality. But we have to make sure that he's not as isolated. Our defender that have to defend Doku is not as isolated as he was in the last time we played them. And sometimes he was not only on a 1v1, sometimes he had even the fullback to support him. So my defender, Conor Bradley back then, had 2 players to defend. And that makes it even more difficult to play against Doku if O'Reilly is also there to help you.
Thank you.
Hi Arne, looking back at the 2 games against Manchester City last season that you'd won, in both games you were able to get a lead quite early on. I think inside the first 15 minutes you were able to score a goal. Whereas looking at the 2 games so far this season, you mentioned the City away game, we played not very well in that first half, even regarding the chance at the end. And in the home game as well at Anfield, it wasn't a great start. City were dominating most of the ball. Even in a game like this, where against a team like City you're expecting to do a lot of defending, how important is it to retain that attacking element even in those early stages of the game?
No, very important. I think I've felt this season multiple times how important it is to get a lead, because that's where we struggled with this season, and it's much easier if you're 1-0 up, 2-0 up to keep the lead than being 1-1 or a goal down and you have to chase the game. So scoring goals is vital in football, as we all know, and it helps you in many aspects. That's why I'm so happy that Alex is back. Away game, we scored from a set piece. That really helps in every game of football, especially in the big games. It's so important that you have a positive set piece balance, which we didn't have when we faced them at the Etihad this season, because they scored from a set piece. By the way, we scored as well, but that was disallowed. So that makes it more difficult. But as you said, the first half at Anfield, City was dominating ball possession. You could also change the question and say, how impressive was it that you dominated ball possession the second half? Because how many teams can dominate ball possession against Man City throughout the last 10 years? So that's what I mean with a big step forward compared to the game we played at the Etihad. But now we have to show this as well in their stadium, which is always more difficult than having 60,000 people at Anfield that helping you out if you are pressing and giving you the energy that you need if you face City. The good thing is it's an FA Cup tie, so we have more fans than we usually have in an away game. And as we know from our fans, they will be loud, and I wouldn't be surprised if they would even be louder than the fans of City.